Hi, my name is Andrea LaFleur. I am the Director of Programs at Revive Center for Housing and Healing and an occupational therapist. Revive has over 100 years of history serving the west side of Chicago, working with people of low income, housing instability, immigrants, and people generally who have barriers to accessing care and services. So Revive historically had more of a shelter model. It also had an addiction treatment program with an Episcopal foundation. And then Revive has, in the last a little more than 50 years, been operating Cressy House, which offers permanent supportive housing and was one of the first in the state at the time of its inception. Since then, we are following best practices to date around housing first harm reduction. So the organization did have a transition from addiction treatment to more of a harm reduction recovery approach. And in that process, we've also added a leasing grant and a scattered site supportive services program where we serve another 98 people at risk of returning to homelessness and otherwise just needing support to access those necessary resources. Within the last 5 years, Revive has established an engagement center, and that is walk-in, low barrier, empowerment focused, strengths based, a place where people who otherwise would have nowhere to go or people and community to engage with, for them to be able to build relationships, access resources in an empowering way, support them to just do the things that all of us as humans need, have social interaction, have purpose, have leisure, and also work on their productivity and other housing related goals. So that center really was established through the incorporation of occupational therapy at Revive and a participatory community assessment, which involved strengths inventories, World Cafe, asset mapping, town hall meetings to bring our supportive housing community members to the decision-making table and determine what they really wanted to see in their community, what was missing, what untapped potential did they have, and what goal areas that they wanted to see. They really co-designed the center. They determined that they wanted a place for belonging. They wanted a place that their social networks could come and access outside of their studio apartment, potentially. They wanted a reading space and an exercise space and access to mental health care and physical health care. They wanted places just to have leisure and social engagement. So they co-designed that space. And since then we are in the process of a big renovation for that space to really become a state-of-the-art homeless center where people in Chicago can come to better connect with the full service sector and access the resources that they need. Recently, we've also added a street outreach team, so that involves a case manager, social worker, occupational therapist, and a peer navigator team with lived expertise of homelessness. They are all going out to our local encampments and other areas that people are currently experiencing unsheltered homelessness to bring what we try to do at Revive to them in the best way possible.
My name is Dr. Laura Van Pembroek. I'm an associate professor at Rush University in the Department of Occupational Therapy. That's good.
The Engagement Center is the creation of the community members that Andrea provided the opportunity to have happen, right? I mean, the space was there forever. It'd been there for a long, long time. Andrea came in and said to the individuals that are residents here and anybody that came in off the street, this space is yours. What would you like it to be? And what she did is she listened to them. They prioritized it, and she used good occupational evidence-based approaches, town halls, world cafes. She's very strongly informed by evidence to do what she wanted, the vision that she saw, but she made sure that what was created was a representation of the community's priorities and their dreams, what they need, right? Not just what they need to be able to have a roof over their head, but what they need to flourish, that thriving piece. The thriving is what's missed so often from healthcare providers. I just care if you are healthy. Okay, yeah, your blood pressure is fine, you're diabetic, your sugar levels are fine. Thriving is a much different thing, right? And so I think that's one of the things that occupational therapy can do. is we look at an individual and say, what do you need to go beyond just being healthy and well? Because if I can tap into what brings you joy in your life, if I can tap into what you need to thrive, then that circles back to help you being healthy and well.
Okay, good morning. My name is Dave Morris. I am a supportive services case manager here at Revive. I actually started as a peer navigator, going on outreach runs and having direct contact with people experiencing homelessness. And I did that starting July 29th, 2024. And I had that role for about, 3 months. And then that's when Andrea approached me and she asked, hey, I have an idea. How would you feel about being a case manager? And I said, really? Took me by surprise. I said, okay, we can try this out for about 30 days or so, kind of get acclimated in the role. And if we agree that it's a fit, then I'll keep going. And so this is where I am right now.
My name is Redrick Taylor. I am a peer navigator for the Revive Center for Housing and Healing. And as a peer navigator, I go out into the community and help those who are unhoused, basically homeless, and I try to get them to a point where they are at least willing to talk about their situation and how we can best serve them. I was once homeless, and just a mirror of issues that was going on in my life. And I finally got things situated, and now today I am housed, and I am very comfortable with my living conditions. And so when I go out, I try to be that person who can say to the person who's homeless that you can do this, that it is possible for you to move forward in life.
So, hi, I'm Tariq Brown. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I work at Revive Center as the outreach team lead. I've been in this position for about 8 months. Before working at Revive, I had been in one other community mental health, housing homelessness setting in which peers were utilized, but not to this extent. Peers are everywhere. I think you've been in our engagement center. We have peer mentors and leaders that are in engagement center as well as in outreach. They're basically case managers who have the lived experience, which I believe provides buy-in for folks that we're meeting out there. That, hey, I'm not just a social worker or whomever on the street telling you about these resources. I'm someone who has actually lived this, experienced this, and I have overcome this, and now I'm housed and I have a job, and I would like to help you. And I think that can really help with rapport building and trust. And I find that the buy-in is so much more when you have that lived experience. Yeah, even from a substance use perspective.
That's something I try to impart into people, that no matter what's going on, you can get to the other side. There is a light at the end of the tunnel if you just keep going and don't give up. And that's why this environment here at Revive is so important, because that's what we foster around here. It is like a prerequisite. If you're gonna work here, you have to have that human spirit. You have to have that drive. You have to have that empathy. You have to have that compassion. And it's a support, just like we support each other, you're supporting the clients who come in. It just having an all-out support mentality.
We have clients who knew me when I was out on the streets, and they knew who I was then, and they are so excited to know where I'm at now. And I think that gives them the motivation to at least look at their situation and how they can move forward. I give them that example, and and it's easier for me to challenge them to come out of the situation that they're in.
Peer support really started at Revive from our our community assessment, where we engaged people to come to the table to talk about what community-based research looked like, to learn what the approaches were, and then to support their community to participate in sharing their voices, perspectives, to influence the programs that they had access to on site. So it started with people that were really empowered, really engaged and motivated to be a part of that change, to see, not just be housed, but be a part of making their community better, to helping other people. There was a huge goal and desire from our housed community members that they wanted to help others because they felt they had such unique expertise and experience to go in going through that transition process, that they wanted to help other people. And that really led to the establishment of the Engagement Center. So peer support went from really focused on, designing the program. It then involved having peer leaders that we would have their picture, their brief bio, and what they could what they wanted to contribute to the space and the community and support for their peers. And our peer leaders would come in, be a part of areas of opportunity that they had, building their, working on their goals, but also supporting others in their unique areas of expertise. And actually from that, we've also, in partnership with Street Medicine Programs in Chicago, determined the real need for people with lived expertise to be at the decision-making table and to be on the service provider team. So Revive did engage in a collaborative grant process where establishing our outreach team involved incorporating a full curriculum of peer navigator training, best practices for hiring, for supervising people with lived experience, and acknowledging that traditional practices have to adapt so that one of the most valuable components of our team could be really positioned for supporting others transitioning. And we've really found that to be true, that without our peer navigators on the outreach team, there would just be individuals and communities that we couldn't effectively support and connect to. So they've been integral in that, and also just continuing to inform program development and evaluation.
Knowing that this person can understand that you're telling your experience, your truth. It's not just like a script. I mean, we're given a script kind of from our All Chicago, which is our continuum of care kind of HUD agency that instructs us what to do and where to go and et cetera, et cetera. You're kind of guided on what to say, and that's all well and good, but like people respond better to like personable, real conversation. I think not mincing words, not overstating what you can do, and being available, giving someone a business card, making yourself available. Like I've had clients that I've reach out to me via email, or somebody found my card on the street and it came in. I just think being authentic and knowing or not knowing or fostering that safe space is integral.
We definitely needed, I think, intentional training and curriculum development. We really wanted to make sure that our peers really recognized their strengths and their roles, really felt confident in their position, but also fostered that ongoing cultural humility piece and ongoing learning and development. So we actually did reference the peer-to-community model onboarding curriculum training. We acknowledged that motivational interviewing, harm reduction, trauma-informed care, housing first, just education, but also hands-on practice and critical reflection, and just a lot of work together as a team to break down some of these concepts, to incorporate their experiences and to learn together in terms of what that meant to them, what was the value to the community. We, of course, get into diverse discussions around what recovery services should look like, what the role of a peer navigator is. We have some people come in very much with the thought that I am here to help a person to help them get better. And then we have others that say I'm here to walk the journey with them, and I respect where they're coming from. So we have a good mix of people with different backgrounds, different perspectives, but there is a universal embrace for the concepts around harm reduction and some of the practices within it, acknowledging that is the spectrum from abstinence to any kind of mitigating the harm and the challenges that come with engaging in things like substance use. So our training really did involve bringing in a lot of those pieces, a lot of hands-on practice. We definitely reviewed code of ethics guidelines around certified recovery support specialists and other peer support specialist literature and training programs. So we built that in. Our peer navigators had a chance to review those code of ethics and also develop their own for our team to collectively be ongoing and evolving. There's also definitely hands-on practice in terms of going out on street runs with the team, understanding their role, and recognizing that how to work together effectively on a team while also recognizing their unique expertise.
It also provides endless opportunities for students, not just occupational therapy students, but medical students, nursing students, audiology students, optometry students. It provides an opportunity for so many future healthcare providers to come and learn from the community members, right, on what they need to be able to be supported in being as healthy as they possibly can, to be able to be supported in achieving the goals that they identify as important goals in their life, right? And allowing the community members' voices to be a part of the students' education, right? So to me, that's really, I think, one of the most powerful pieces that the role Revive plays in our lives, in my life, in my students' lives. But Revive is also a place that just, has open arms to anybody and everybody that walks through the door, right? And so, there's no discrimination. There's no, exclusionary criteria. That everybody can walk in this door and get what they need.
I wouldn't have even known about Revive until Redrick told me about it. And he called me, he said, "What are you doing?" It was on a Sunday in June. I said, "I'm, looking for work again." He said, "Why don't you come here and do what I do?" I said, "Redrick, I don't know what that is. What are you doing?" Because we had lost contact for a little bit, actually. And so he said, "I'm a peer navigator at Revive." I said, "A peer navigator? Never heard about that." He said, "So, okay, look, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you in touch with Andrea. You talk to her, and you'll get a better understanding." But he said, "But it's basically outreach, reaching the communities of people who are unstably housed and all of that, and just supporting them until life becomes better." So that's just kind of circling back to my intro. That's how I started with peer navigation and progressed to this point. And there's always more progression to come. That's how I think. So this experience has been and is a healing thing. It's like I say, I thank God for a job every day. When I leave and I go home, I say, "Well, another successful day at work. Thank you." And I say, "We'll do this again tomorrow."